All right, today on Unpacked, we are gonna put our eyes on some new packaging. So this technology has been around for a little bit. I don't recall exactly how long, but we've seen it poking around the industry for a number of years. And the product or the packaging format is called Paperfoam. It is a starch-based kind of molded, it's not pulp, it's not fiber, it's this cellulose starch product. You know, think of those dissolvable packaging peanut things that you have. We did a little review a bit ago about some insulated packaging that uses a very similar technology. And so as a technology or as a material, maybe nothing crazy new. I'm sure there's a lot in the chemistry. I don't want to undersell it by any stretch. But it's a molded, like an injection molded product, and therefore we get some interesting detail and the ability to do some cool things with it. There are questions, however, around sustainability, and I'd actually love some comments below. But I'd love some of your perspectives on what you think of a product like this. A lot of times we see it as a replacement for maybe thermoform trays in some consumer electronics, or we see it as like a pulp replacement. And there's questions around scale of recyclability. And I'm not gonna get super deep into it, but essentially, like if you throw a couple of these in your recycling bin, it's fine, it's not a problem. If a warehouse has to be recycled because maybe there's a problem with a whole batch of stuff, now that amount of material going into a recycling stream at that percentage, going into one facility, creates a lot of stickiness and gumminess and some other things, which can be problematic. But as a individual product that goes into a recycling stream, it just winds up getting kind of dissolved, and it just becomes it's a mild contaminant, but it largely it's not a problem. So let's look at this specific application, because I think this is probably a little more intriguing, because a lot of times we see it used as an alternative to pulp, which is a recyclable material, and we will run LCAs and some other stuff on that later. But the application here is actually in replacement of more durable plastic products. The packaging here is for a blush. I called this eye product. I don't know. It's some type of a cosmetic. This is eyeshadow. I wasn't wrong. Anyways, this is a brand called Half Magic, and they have decided to use a paper foam to replace the rigid plastic structures that you typically find in a lot of cosmetics applications. And I think that's what's interesting, because I think usually the size of a number of cosmetic applications, or the mixed products, or the finishes, whatever it is, winds up having a lot of negative impacts on the sustainability, the recyclability, whatever that is downstream. And so, you know, this product is essentially, it can degrade on the surface into kind of a harmless starch. It can go into the recycling stream and it's not a problem. But it's just, I think, a really interesting application. And being moldable, you can create some really cool latches, hinges, and things like that with this product. So I've always been intrigued with Paperfoam, and again, I'd love to hear your thoughts, all the sustainability people that are watching out there, on what their thoughts are. And the other thing that they've done here, though, is they've actually really thought about kind of end of life. And so there's a removable sticker here on the back, and you can take a pen or something and poke it through and pop out this tray. It's a little metal tray that's in here that has the product in it. So we just thought it was a really interesting application. It's a replacement for a more longer term durable product, whereas we normally see it being used as a kind of a single use paper pulp replacement. Yeah, anywhere that you've seen in this, like, I don't know all of the applications for Paperfoam, but if you've seen like a really cool, interesting application, let us know in the comments below. But yeah, more interested to hear kind of some of your sustainability thoughts. So that's it. Thanks for watching Unpacked this week, and stay tuned for next time.